How do you price your online course? This is a question that a lot of online educators, a lot of course instructors, both offline and online, have to grapple with. So today's conversation, I really want to help you answer that question. So here's an overview I want you to pay attention to. So when you think about pricing your online course, the first big mistake you should avoid at all costs is to actually charge too little. Okay? Do not charge too little. And I want to actually invite into the whole discussion here another complementary sort of mistake. Do not charge too high. So basically, you want to avoid the extremes. Okay? Not too low, not too high. The thing is, you want to be in the middle. And this is very important, regardless of how new or how experienced you are, or how you quantify your own value, how you quantify your own acumen, your own expertise. See, the whole thing is that there is a big mistake in trying to value yourself like too cheap by charging too little, because you're thinking, well, I want to attract learners, like the right learners to me. No, those learners, if you charge too little, your course will be viewed as a cheap course, not offering value. This is what it is. Okay. Think about it. Would you actually walk into a store and you see a cheap product? Would you buy it regardless of the brand? No. Unless you are budget, like you really are a budget conscious buyer. But most folks who are interested in online education and online learning, the value, the skill set that they are getting, the value, the info, the value, the knowledge they are acquiring. So you want to charge appropriately. And so this advice actually applies, this piece of advice actually applies for not charging higher either, because if you charge too much, nobody's going to buy your course and it's going to be sitting there for a long time, and you don't want that either. So be very careful here. Okay. And regardless of how you think you're new, you're a newbie or you're experienced, you need to charge appropriately. You could do some research. I'll talk about how to actually charge later on, but you can do some research about what the competition is charging and charge somewhere in that range as well. Boss, I want to quickly welcome you back to this show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. So tip number 1, do not charge high. Do not charge low. Do not charge too high. Do not charge too low. So having said that, what is the exact price you should be charging? Really, that's the thing here. Now, this is a pretty tricky question. Why? Because when we talk about cost, we're talking about geography. We're talking about target audience. We're talking about niche. We're talking about your break-even point, because when we talk about the cost for you to really monetize your activity, you need to actually at least cover your cost, your fixed cost, that is. Okay. And so it's important to understand that based on our research, we've seen that the sweet spot tends to range between $150 and $200 per online course. Okay, $150 to $200. Now, having said that, I'm just speaking from the perspective of someone living in New York, for instance, or someone living in Jersey. Now, if you are living in Delaware, or you live in a place where the cost of living is a little different, then you might want to charge a little lower. Or let's say you are in a country, you are living in a foreign country where the cost of living is lower, then you might be thinking, well, 150, there's no way my students will be able to afford that. Now, so this is why I prefaced this conversation by saying, when we talk about pricing, obviously the element of geography will play an important role, and the element of target audience will play an important role, as well as the element of niche. If you're selling a course around personal finance, you're not going to charge the same amount as if you're selling a course around crafting or creative stuff, right? It's just what it is. But so you want to be able to find a good, like a happy medium to sort of charge the right price. Now, $150 to $200. What you want to do is, before you set the price for your own online course, do some research. This is what I just said. Do some research and see what your competitors are charging. And what you want to do is you want to take the average of maybe 5 or 10 rivals. I mean, let's say 5 or 10 prices from rivals. They are actually talking about the same topic, okay? And then take an average, okay? By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how do you price your online course. Let's talk about how much you can make selling online courses. One thing you need to understand here is that when we talk about online courses, especially during COVID, like 1 or 2 years ago when everybody was home, the industry was booming like crazy because a lot of folks were home. Not a lot of folks, everybody was home. So folks needed to find a way to entertain themselves, to educate themselves, to think about their next move, and so on and so forth. So online courses became an important sort of blueprint for a lot of entrepreneurs. And the online course industry is booming, and it's possible to make a lot of cash if you find the right product market fit. So according to one study, 40% of online tutors make between 25 grand and 50 grand per year, a full-time income in most people's books, really. And a further 30% make more than 75 grand per year selling online courses. So the possibility is there, right? It's all about what I just said. You need to find the right product market fit. In other words, you need to find the right niche and you need to find the right target audience. And the thing is that those two elements take time to cultivate. I mean, the niche could be there, but if you do not have the right audience within that niche, it's going to be impossible to sort of make the 6 digits. Okay. And the most lucrative online courses can generate 6 or even 7-figure revenue. It's not easy to achieve these kinds of numbers, but if you create a great course and market it, the sky really is the limit. Now, when we talk about marketing, we have all kinds of sources, all kinds of avenues where you can actually generate revenue. So you have Facebook ads, for instance, in terms of marketing, in terms of advertising, Facebook ads. You have Google ads. You have YouTube ads. You have all kinds of advertising. So you can also you can advertise on Instagram, on TikTok, on Pinterest. So the thing is that for you to find the right advertising platform, you need to make sure that this ad platform syncs with what your target audience wants, right? Because if there's no synchronicity, it's not going to work. You want to have some kind of sync in here. And but yeah, this is so the revenue you can make selling online courses can go all the way to $100,000 a year. And we have seen cases where people are making $250,000 selling online courses every single year. Let's talk about the duration of an online course. In other words, people are asking, should you have a short online course? Should you have a long one? It really depends upon the topic. Certain topics require long duration videos, while others require small tidbits of videos. So if you're talking about something let's say you're talking about something revolving around money, right? Money, finance, investing. Folks want to take the time to really listen. And remember, a lot of folks are driving, they're going to work, they are commuting to work, and they just listen to your online course as a podcast. So the longer the better in that sense. So the thing is that it really depends. The duration depends on the topic. There are no hard and fast rules about how long an online course should be. However, as a general rule of thumb, we suggest that you want to aim for 10 to 25 hours in total in most cases. That said, shorter courses can be as little as 5 to 10 hours, and very long courses can be as much as 25 to 100 hours or more. Again, remember, this is the total amount, but you have to break down this into digestible sort of videos, okay? So most people have nowadays short attention spans. So your course should be broken up into several sections or modules, and each module should be further broken into individual lessons. Each lesson should take no longer than 15 minutes to 1 hour to complete. So this is important. If you want to retain people's attention, this is actually the sacrifice the editorial sacrifice you need to consent to. And one thing I also need to say here is that when we talk about an online course in terms of duration, remember that duration can change. So as your course topics change, even though you still have the same audience, the duration might change too. Okay. So if you have an audience, let's say 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and they're still loyal to you, you can't have the same duration because their needs, their priorities, their requirements may have changed in the meantime. So that's why it's important to really collect data from the audience through surveys and through quizzes and through other means, so you know exactly what your audience is expecting. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how do you price your online course. Let's talk about the average online course completion rate. And this is an important element because if you want to, this has a direct impact on your revenue generation goal. The higher the completion rate, the better, especially if you are selling on a course platform and the platform is charging you based on the percentage of completion. So average completion rates can vary substantially from one course to the next, but they don't tend to be very high. Across the board, average online completion rates hover around 15%, 15 to 20%, which means what? The vast majority of your students will drop out before completing the whole course. In fact, on Udemy or Udacity, the average student completes just 30% of the course. So those are things you need to be aware of. And it's not about discouraging you or whatever. It's not about the quality of your course. It's just that nowadays folks have competing needs and different priorities. People might start your course having good intentions, and 1 month down the road or 3 months down the road, stuff happens and people have to drop the course. So it's one of those things where you have to be really flexible and not actually bother your students too much because they are not showing up or they're not completing the course. And so now there are some things you can do to improve your course completion rates. One tactic you can try is to add gamification to your course by offering rewards when students reach certain milestones. So this incentivizes them to keep going. You can also try making your course shorter or looking for bottlenecks where most students tend to drop out and revising the content in that section to make it easier. So bottom line is what? Think about your course as something very dynamic. So it's not just that, I just create a course and just upload it and that's it. I start collecting revenue. No, it doesn't happen that way. You create a course and you tweak it, you tweak it every single day. So for you to collect revenue and draw traffic over and over and over, you need to actually, you need to really keep tweaking your content. This is really important, and this is the only way you are going to survive in the long run. When we talk about pricing your online course, there is an important element to pay attention to when it comes to choosing the best online course platforms. Because without the best platforms, you might be struggling. Now, by the way, when we talk about platforms, we're talking about either a marketplace or either a software tool that really helps with your online course generation. And the thing is that when we talk about the platforms, I want to share with you 3 of them here. You have Thinkific, you have Podia, and you have LearnWorlds. So when we talk about Thinkific, for instance, this is one of the best dedicated online course platform. It's built exclusively for selling online courses, but it has one of the best features set that we have seen. There is a free plan and 0 transaction fees. And then you have Podia. So Podia is the best online course platform for anyone who wants to sell more than just courses. So you can sell all sorts of digital products and subscriptions. And it comes with all the marketing tools you need, including email marketing, affiliate marketing, and customer communication. There is a free plan and 0 transaction fees on paid plans. That's just really fantastic. And then you have a third tool I want to share with you that's called LearnWorlds. So LearnWorlds actually is another powerful course platform that's best suited to serious educators. We love this a lot because LearnWorlds actually helps you have a long-term strategy. I mean, in the short run, you might not be seeing some progress very quickly, and you might be discouraged. But if you keep at it, and if you keep actually tweaking your offer, your content, you are going to succeed. So basically, LearnWorlds has a strong focus on learning tools and comes with some unique features. and including a tool that lets you create your own branded app and support for SCORM courses. So here is an app that really supports you and really wants to make sure that you also succeed as an educator. So this is really good. And one thing I want to say here is that you need to understand the best way to price your online course is to actually learn the rules and regulations of the specific platform where you are going to host your course. So that way you have a clear idea what's working on that platform and what's not. Before we close to this conversation, it's really important to understand that at the end of the day, the platform you choose, the audience you have, and the strategy you have to price your online course is not those things are not going to be successful unless you yourself or your training team are dedicated. Because see, the whole thing is that there is a human element to the whole equation. Granted, nowadays we have AI capabilities to help you with quizzes, with questions, with courses, but you still have the expertise of the trainer, the expertise of the training team, which means you need to actually invest in your own education. If you are going to charge a lot of cash for your online courses, you better have the skill set needed to justify those skill set. If you are going to charge little to justify something, at least you need to work on your skill set also. The bottom line here is to understand that for you to shine when it comes to online course selling, you need to differentiate yourself. Okay. And when we talk about differentiating yourself, we're not just talking about differentiating yourself from the competition no. It's about what makes you you. Okay. Remember that. What makes you you. And one thing I want to say also is that when we talk about the type of functionalities you need, you got to ask yourself, what is my IT background? What is my web design background? Do I have more experience or do I have less experience? So you have to choose stuff that you can implement here without really suffering too much in terms of scalability, in terms of implementation. Okay. And also you got to ask yourself, do I want to go with a WordPress tool or a non-WordPress tool? So when we talk about WordPress tool, you can use the likes of LearnDash, Thrive, Apprentice, LearnPress, for instance. But if you want to use a non-WordPress tool, then you can really find out exactly what kind of structure or what kind of content will be better for you. Remember, at the end of the day, whatever content you have, you're going to have to share that with a lot of folks, including your students. So it's always important to have a clear idea about what kind of information they're sharing on that side of the story also. And that's really great. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, we're talking about how do I price my online course. So I gave you the overview in terms of how do you price your online course, how much can you make actually selling online courses, how long should an online course be, what's the average online course completion rate, and I just went through changing the best overall online course platforms. Thank you so much for your attention. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.